Hey guys, welcome back to Lindasresinroom. So what I thought I would do is is an into-resin mold. It's some kind of little box that I had bought. It's called a lotus something. But to me it didn't look like a lotus, but it does have a bunch of little flowers on it. Now I do have a 20% off discount code for into-resin molds that I'll flash up in the screen here. If you buy any products from them, it's good on everything that they sell, including their cell molds. But I want to try to paint this up and then pour. So for the flowers, I'm going to use this red, blue dual color from Chain Type G. It's a beautiful color when it's mixed in, but I've never tried it painted on the mold. And blackish green for the leaves. So I'm going to put you guys on a time lapse and try my best to paint this up. And then we will pour it with a solid color. So see you back shortly. Alright guys, so I got everything painted up. It's not the best paint job in the world, and I probably missed a lot of spots and didn't clean up a lot very well, but best I can get it. We'll see. I did use the blackish green. I used sky blue, wine red, red blue dual color, and golden yellow. So let's mix up some resin, and we'll be back to pour this up. See you in just a moment. Alright guys, so I got 6 ounces of resin in there. I haven't mixed it yet because we need to do a color. So I thought we would use Diagonal Pours Halley's Comet. This is a new color that I bought recently, and I haven't tried it yet. So let's give it a try. Here are my tweezers. I have the hardest time getting these things open. Okay. Try this. There we go. I can just get it started when I can get it open. Okay. I don't want this flying everywhere. These things are hard to open. I don't know what she does to glue them suckers down. They don't come open, that's for sure. So you don't have to worry about them stealing the shipment. Isn't that a pretty color though? Halley's Comet. Let's do one. It's like a, kind of like the crushed crystal. Let's do 3. See what this will look like. I don't know if this is a matte mold or a shiny mold, but I have a feeling it's matte. But we'll see once we get this poured and demolded. Okay. Ooh, isn't that a pretty color? That'll be gorgeous for this jar. Alright guys, I'm going to get this mixed up, get it in the debubbler. We'll be back for in just a moment. Alrighty guys, so I got it out of the debubbler. My microphone is messed up, so I'm going to try to do a voiceover. But I'm just going to take the color and I'm going to fill it into this mold.
I can't spray alcohol or anything down in there because of where I painted the mold up. Now there's a lot of little intricate details in those little roses, so I'm worried that we might get some bubbles on those. But we're just going to pour slowly and hopefully try to prevent that. I probably should have used a thinner resin, but I didn't. This is a pretty thick resin that I'm using. So I'm just taking my time, pouring slowly to try to hopefully grab every little area and get this filled up without overfilling it. Because you know this is an into-resin mold, so it isn't a handmade mold. And if you overfill them too much, then you have to have a lot of cleanup because everything you overfill has to be cleaned off. And it's very difficult to judge. So we've almost got the bottom of it filled up here. Now, the center of this mold, as you can see, it kind of is sticking up a little bit there. I think I've got it completely covered, but it's very high. It's almost level with the top of the mold. Now we're going to fill up the top. We're going to go slowly to try to get the little knob down in there first, and then let it slowly fill all the way up. I am going to check for bubbles down in that little knob, just because I don't want any down in there. So we're just going to take a little dotting tool around the lip of that and see if there's any bubbles that we can get out. There we go. I didn't see any. There came one. I seen him pop. Alrighty, clean that off. I always forget to clean those off, then I end up with resin attached. Now you see I'm trying to check to see if there's any bubbles around the edges of this one. And you can see the center of that sticking up. The center of that mold. Alright, now let's continue and just fill up the rest of the top of this. This is called a vintage lotus mold. I don't know why it's called a lotus mold. It does have flowers on it, but it doesn't look like a lotus to me. So, just curious as to how it got its name. I'm going to roll that around, and hopefully that will get under the lip of the lid and get into all those little grooves of the flower to prevent bubbles. Now you can also drop your mold if you don't have it all the way filled, and it will release bubbles that way as well. I probably should have done that to the bottom, but I didn't. So let's just finish filling this up. That is such a pretty color. Dianca Pours Haley's Comet. Gorgeous color, especially for a brown. Okay, and we've almost got that filled. There we go, and I've still got quite a bit left. Just going to check for bubbles here, see if there's any around that lip. Sometimes if you'll pull them out like this, then if there's bubbles down in there, you can get them out. And the thing is with these molds from Into-Resin, they're always very stretchy. There comes a bubble. Gotta help it along. They use a very good silicone to make them bendable so that you can really get these things out. Especially jars. I love jars, but they can be very difficult to demold sometimes, but not with this soft silicone. Pluck that bubble out there. See if there's any more. I don't want to go poking around because I did paint this mold up. So I'd hate to poke around and pull my paint job off. Alrighty. I don't know if we've went around all the way yet or not. So just continuing to look. There's a bubble. So we did have a couple. Hopefully when we demold this, we've got them all and we won't have any more. Okay. I don't see anything else, and I think I've already went around it. Alright. Now, clean that off again. Put just a little bit more in there. Like I said, I don't want to overfill it, but I don't want to completely fill it. Almost. Here we go. Just another drop or two, I think. Not much. Now, we've got to find some molds to put this extra in. I don't remember how much I had left. maybe 2 ounces. I don't quite remember. Okay, clean up a little bit. Now, this is a mold I made myself. It's got some like gold down in there, and then I put some of the sparkling white, and who knows what else I put down in there. I made this out of an amethyst crystal, so I always like to back it in brown, so I'm going to put a little brown in there. I don't fill it all of the way up, but I should have. But like I said, it's my own mold. It's a little ugly, but it makes a really pretty piece. Now this one probably won't be because the gold that I put down in there was a really ugly gold. I've had it sitting to the side for quite a while. We'll get to demold that now and get that out of my way. Now we still have some more, so this is a little skull that I put some other color in. I don't think it's quite cured yet, but I like to just use these little skulls because they're so small to use whatever resin I have left as extras. And people love them, especially this time of year. I think when I bought these, they may have been like 9 or 10 in a pack. And it was like a bracelet to do a skull bracelet, but I don't do skull bracelets. And I love these little birds. I'm going to just pour this in there. Now, when you do this little tiny bird, a bubble usually gets caught in his nose. And the bigger bird, it's more the tail. So I put just a little bit down in both of these. That way I can check them here in just a moment and make sure I don't have any bubbles. The little bird, I forgot to check one time, and he had his whole nose missing. Well, just the little tip. But I'd rather not have any bubbles if I can, so I always squeeze the tail just to make sure, and then I push his nose in. And every time I do that, then I never get a bubble sense. So just pushing it around, making sure if there is a bubble, it let loose. This one, the nose is kind of rounded, so you don't have to worry about it, but you do have to worry about that tail. So I did squeeze the tail there. Now we'll just finish filling them up. They don't take very much, but they are the cutest little birds. I'm going slow just so I don't spill it. And every time I dome these, it doesn't matter. I still have to trim the bottom. I don't know why, but it always leaves this lip. I guess it's the way that it cures, and maybe the small amount causes it to shrink a little more or something maybe. But I dome them as best as I can, and I still have to trim them. So give me a couple more little skulls here just to finish using what we've got. I don't know if we'll be able to do all three. We'll do the ones that we can. I think this is such a lovely color. These skulls, I usually end up having to trim these as well. On rare occasion, they'll be good and flat, but usually I have to trim them. I haven't figured them out yet. So I've got enough to do this one, I think. And these always, I end up having them different colors, as you've seen with the first one. I had the blue because of a lot of times I have all this extra resin and it doesn't fill it completely up. And so instead to waste it, I just make different colored layered skulls. And people, like I said, they love them. So we'll take whatever we've got left to put in this one. I do like to scrape my jar completely. Almost. These little cups are so thin. They be in so easy. Alrighty, but I like to mix up larger amounts of resin. Okay, just scrape it a little bit more, see if we can get a little more out of there. I think we've about got it. Alright, just about. I don't know if it filled that one up or not. I went and put some more in. I think I filled it completely, but we'll let these cure up and then we'll come back and I'll see you for the demold.
Everything has cured up, so we're going to get to demolding, but I do want to mention this little box. When it cured, I guess where the resin shrinks a little, it left the center exposed. So I did have to mix up some more resin and pour that in there again. So you might want to do this box in layers, and just because of that. Because like I said, I did have to mix up some more resin and pour it in there just because of the resin shrunk and exposed the center of the mold. So just an FYI, if anybody has this mold or gets this mold, and this went into resin, well-made mold. Just you gotta factor in resin shrink. All right, so let's do mold. Let's get all these skulls first. This is our extra. I really like that. Halley's Comet. It's very pretty. I'm just going to pop them all out. One of these, I think, had multiple colors, if I'm not mistaken. Those are all the same. This one has multiple colors. And here's my tape. And I did pour a little overage on here. Maybe not a little too full. Hopefully I can get this off with the tape. And it will help me to demold it a little easier. I think it's going to come. I'll have to pluck it off. There we go. If I can get it that way. Makes it a little difficult to pop these out with the overage on there. I'm still going to have some I'm going to have to pluck off. But that should let us pop him out. Hope. Yeah, there he goes. You see that overage I've got to pluck off of him. I'll have to clean him up. Especially right in that little area there. And about that side. Wonder if I can get this side. Yeah. Just get my fingernail down in there, which I don't have much of. And if I can use a dotting tool. And get a small one. Push that up. And then pluck it off. Yeah, there we go. He's a bit funky. Anyways, all skulls are funky in my opinion, but it's just me. And there's my little bird. He's pretty. He always has to be trimmed. No matter how well you done these, they still have to be trimmed. Get their nose first, and then the tail will pop out. And there's his little friend. Very, very pretty. Okay, now let's see how ugly this is going to be, because I know it's going to be. Like I said, I just dumped colors down in there. I will have to trim this down, sand it down. Some sharp edges because I didn't fill the mold all the way. That's no worries. Just get the worst of it so that it don't get poked. There's our colors that I've layered. And there's what I mean when I say it is not the greatest color. It's pretty mold. Anyway, a little bigger. Alright, now our jar. See a bubble. Not bad. Little bubble. Don't touch the inside of your mold. Be very, very careful. Popped it out. It's the same mold. Okay. Not too bad. We'll have to trim that. Now let's see our jar. Got a bubble here. Bubble there. I didn't think about bubbles being in the flowers. Yeah, it's got a few bubbles. Okay. See how close to the top that is? So when the resin started curing, it shrunk down and you could see that it was exposed. Okay. I like the brown. You can see all the little bubbles I have everywhere. There's a big one. I should have used a thinner resin, maybe, to get all those little areas. Or moved it around. They're pretty jars. I don't know how they get a lotus out of that, but it's a vintage lotus jar. But anyways, it is pretty. These are always so loose though. Alrighty guys, that is it for this video. So I'll take some photos and I'll see you guys back for the next one. So bye for now.